All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you are poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. So over the years, we've heard a considerable amount of conversation, discussion, complaints about leadership and people in power, priests, priestesses, chiefs, kings, etc. And if you're a person in power, if you're a leader in any capacity, then you know that's par for the course. That's natural, right? To put it in very simple terms, if you're a parent, you know that your children complain about your rules. They complain about the resources or lack thereof in the house. They can't go out to eat as much as they want. They can't have the new shoes or the new gadget. They can't do what other people do, right? And so you as a parent know that's just the way it is. And just because my children don't necessarily like it does not mean that I'm going to change one thing. Because eventually they'll become parents and then they'll understand exactly why I did what I did in most instances, right? There are situations where parents are unfit and they're ill-equipped. And likewise, there are instances where there are leaders and teachers and priests who are they're unfit, right? Or they just have shortcomings, faults, and deficiencies, and those things need to be addressed and rectified one way or another. But what I want to do right now is address the situation wherein we have leadership and people in powerful positions who are adept, who are skilled at what they're doing, and who are committed to bringing about the most favorable outcomes for the most people. And when you find yourself in that situation, then you're going to listen to the complaints, right? So let me personalize it and say, I myself have worked myself into a position of relative power influence. And because of the nature of my work and how I approach life in general, I'm listening. I give an attentive ear to the general complaints, and I give an attentive ear to the complaints about me and my own work even more so. And so in the process of doing that, what I have realized is that more times than not, what people are disgruntled about are things that I actually agree with, right? It's just that they're on the outside looking in most times, and they don't really understand the sequence of events. They don't understand the processes. They don't understand the limiting factors that prevent me from being able to do the things that they would like me to do, when they'd like me to do it, the way they'd like me to do it. But when I find that there's, this spectrum of agreement that I have with people who are complaining, then it creates this opportunity for me to say, oh, okay, how about we work on that together? How about I help you understand what it is that I'm doing so that you and your peers can join forces with me to create the outcomes that you say you want, because I want those things too. But this is the structure in place. This is the system in place. This is what we're working with. How can we work together to make this thing do what we both really want it to do? Now, one of the mechanisms that are in place to ensure that we get the desired outcomes, not just for me, not just for you, but for all of us, is standards. There's standards, right? I find that quality cannot be added. This is something that I learned from my time working in a branding agency and in the branding industry. Quality cannot be added. So in other words, if this is cheap fabric, well, putting gold buttons on cheap fabric isn't going to add to the quality of the fabric. When I sit down, the pants are still going to rip. When I raise my hands up, the fabric is still going to rip. When I wash it and wash it and wash it the fourth time, the fabric is still going to disintegrate. The gold buttons do not add value to the fabric. They don't add quality to the fabric, and therefore they don't add quality to the uniform. So I got to start with high quality materials in order to create high quality products, which means I got to start with high quality people. For the work that I do, I need to have high quality people. So I need to have standards in place to say that these are the criteria. You need to do this and this and this at this level in order to be a part of what we're doing. Okay, so what I want to address today is, are you equipped to recognize, appreciate, and accommodate high standards? You may want to have high quality outcomes and high quality experiences, but are you willing to be a high quality participant? Do you know what it takes to recognize, hey, this is a high quality environment? This isn't a run-of-the-mill environment. This isn't a place where anything goes. This isn't a community that consists of everyday riffraff people. These are all folks who are operating on this level. This instruction is happening at this level. Therefore, the requirements for participation must match. I have to bring it. I got to bring my A game in order to participate on an A quality team. Are you willing to recognize a high quality environment? Are you willing to recognize within yourself those areas in which you really just aren't making the grade? Can you say to yourself, hey, you know what? This is in these areas of activity where they're asking me to perform, I actually don't have I can't perform at that level yet. I need to dig deeper. I need to reach deeper in order to meet the standards here. Can you say that? Or are you going to deflect and pretend that it's all about something else? And that these are the challenges that we also need to address. And as someone who is working to create high quality experiences and outcomes for my community, I have to say that there's an obligation and a requirement on the part of the seekers, on the part of the devotees, on the part of the students. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get better if you want to participate in high quality experiences. Okay? Likewise, because I know that, from being a school teacher, let's say I got a classroom of 10 children. Well, I got 2 of them who are zeros. On average, I got 2 who are zeros. They're never going to cut it. But then I've got 2 who are just an 11. On a scale of 10, there's 2 of them who are going to be 11. These 2 they're going to go for it. They're going to make it happen no matter what. The other 2 on the other end of the spectrum, no matter what's in front of them, they're never going to get it. They're just not, for one reason or another. But then you've got all those folks, those 6 people in the middle. Now, more times than not, 4 of those 6 are going to be entertained by the 2 zeros. They're going to be all wrapped up in the comedy, the jokes, the clowning, the bravado, the whatever it is that those 2 are doing. 4 of the 6 are going to be constantly entertained by that. They're going to have one leg into it. And then you have another 2 who are going to gravitate toward the 2 high performers. So, you know, anybody who's a teacher, you know what I mean? You can chime in and let me know that, you know, these are rough estimates, but I've been doing this a long time and it pans out. What I'm trying to say is that there are fewer doers than there are complainers. And so I'm talking to those few who are hardcore high performers, and then those few more who they would like to be a high performer, but they're seeing how the majority is so loud and they're not quite sure which way they should go. I want to affirm for you that all those folks who are on the low end, they're going to stay on the low end. And some of them are going to live long enough to be able to tell you with absolute certainty, it was a mistake. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of energy. I wish if I had it to do over, I would lean toward high performance. I'd be willing to make the sacrifices. I would be willing to make myself a little bit more comfortable, to be a little bit more patient, to be a little bit more flexible, to try a little bit harder to improve and lean toward the high performance spectrum. I want to affirm for you, if you're not old enough to have friends and associates who squandered their youth, who squandered their early careers, who squandered their most high quality relationships, because it pans out everywhere. It pans out everywhere in their lives. If you know people who have lived long enough to reflect on their lives, they can tell you with absolute certainty, it's better if you make the sacrifice to reach toward the high performance area and habits. So I want to engage all of you who are high performers or who want to be high performers in a conversation. Let's talk about what it takes based on your real lived experience. Ignore the noisemakers, ignore the jokers, ignore the people who are constantly obsessed with being victims. Ignore the people who have 80 million excuses for every single scenario. Forget them. Scroll right past them. And let's zero in on the folks who say, yes, I get it. I understand. I am a high performer and I want to be aligned with other high performers. I'm talking to you. I'm inviting you to join us. I'm inviting you to find out how Oloye, Obafemi Origunwa, and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you improve your practice, improve your life, and do the things that will help bring about the good condition for yourself and for those who you are destined to serve. I want you to visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com, and let's start doing everything that we can to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look eagerly forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odapo.